Hello everybody and welcome back to the latest episode of Manifesto Talks. And today I'm very excited to be talking to not only a good friend but a client of Manifesto, Kristian Connolly, the owner of Core Estates. So welcome to the podcast.
Thanks, Oliver. Thanks very much for having me.
So I want to kick it off by learning a bit about yourself, where you're from, etc.
So for my sins, I am from Dublin in Ireland, but now I have the pleasure of living here in sunny Marbella. My working career, I am in a family business called Road Train. So prior to that, I actually had aspirations of probably being in the golfing world, but realised that I probably wouldn't have food on the table if I decided to continue that. So
as we both know, it's a cutthroat world. So I know Road Train has an incredible history, and I just want to touch on that before we get into the world of real estate. It's a company that's actually coming up to its 100th birthday. Right. Give us a little bit of background on that.
Yeah, so Road Train, for anybody who doesn't know, we're in the logistics industry. Mm-hmm. So it's a family-run business going back to the 1930s, which is quite unique. So that goes back to my grandfather, Martin Connolly. So back then, the main mode of transportation was by horse and cart. Wow. So one of the things he had was stables and horses in Dublin. So that was the main mode of transportation, and that he used to provide a distribution service around Dublin for that. So, he did very well at that stage, but I think it really kind of only flourished and progressed just after World War II. Mm-hmm. So in the mid-1940s, he saw an advertisement in the local Irish newspaper that the Irish government were selling used army trucks. And he kind of recognized that this was like an opportunity to, for the new way of transportation going to be in Ireland and across the world, as it was in many other countries. So it turned out to be a very good investment, because when he purchased that, it allowed him to expand the network around Ireland. And so, it really brought it up to a new level where he was working with a lot of high, international customers. And my father then joined the business in 1955. Mm-hmm. To be fair, he brought it to an all new level, whereby the success that my grandfather had created, it kind of passed on to the next generation, whereby he was seeing opportunities to not only just provide an expansive distribution service, but also to invest in property. That led to a lot of changes, and by the 1990s, we restructured the company because we decided to keep the property element of the business in one and transfer the distribution company over to another. So that's where Road Train was created. So still dating back to the 1930s. So not many can say a 100-year-old company is some achievement. So
I think it's absolutely fascinating. When you go on the website, the story speaks for itself. It's something that I really wanted you to touch on. One of the big things is you actually took the reins of the company at quite a young age. So that must have been a hell of an experience.
Yeah, I didn't really know. From when I was finishing school, I actually had aspirations to be a professional golfer, this, that, and the other. And I knew that wasn't really the route or path that was going to work for me. That when I left school at 18, and my father offered me a kind of summer job really to kind of come in because a staff member had finished. And 20 years later, I'm still there. So I had no aspirations to stay. But for anybody that doesn't know the logistics industry, it's highly regulated, the same in the UK. So it's a very, very tough industry to be in. And so the first couple of years, I really learned from the ground up. But from 21, I had the opportunity to then take the reins as managing director of the business. So time frame for everybody in around that was around 2009. So if anybody knows, that's where the financial crisis or when the world kind of all kind of stopped. So what I learned from that period to probably 2012 was something that I don't think anybody could teach you in college. No. So it really kind of fast tracked my education in the business world. And thankfully we came out the other side of that, continued to the next generation. So we're in the third generation of this business, and we've continued to invest in property, and we've seen great success. And I suppose I'm fortunate at the point now where I have a fantastic team in there. A lot who have been there since before I was born.
Yeah, I think obviously we spoke a few times, and it's that challenge of becoming the boss at 21 when there's staff members that would have been there before you were even a thought.
That's exactly it, and it's one of those things that it's a very difficult one that not many can prepare you for, but when you kind of get into the mold, you realize that I don't think any one individual can bring on something. It's all about who you gather yourself around, and I'm really fortunate that we do have a team that has helped bring Road Train to a new level again. So I'm at the position now that I'm not working in the company but more on it, and so it kind of gives me opportunities for different avenues.
Focus on core estates, which we're going to get onto. I think what's interesting is there's always been that contact with property. So, I mean, I think a lot of people, when they move into the real estate world, it's a jump into a totally new industry, where it's something that, looking at the timescale, you'd have realistically grown up being involved with. So what made the spark to move into Marbella and deciding to start up Core Estates?
Yeah, so like I suppose from holidaying as a young kid, we always had a very close connection with the Algarve in Portugal. So my sister lives there, my brother-in-law is Portuguese, so we've been going there, as my family have been, since the 80s. So we had a big connection there, and I suppose there's a big connection between the Algarve or Quinta del Lago, where we were, and here in Marbella, where a lot of people that visited there for holidays also were here. Yeah. So I always heard a huge amount about Marbella, but never actually visited. So it was only just in a little bit before COVID that we decided to kind of travel up the coast and have a look and see what it was all about. Yeah. And that's where I kind of instantly fell in love with it. Not only just does Marbella offer such great, investment opportunities here, but the quality of life, and that people are actually living here and settling, rather than not so much a tourist destination. So that was really something that really attracted.
But I think from your point of view, you actually bought a home with the idea of it being investment property, which is now where you're currently living.
This is exactly it. So when we were there, we were just solely looking at purchasing an investment property, not having any kind of indication that this would be something that we'd be looking at full-time moving. So we've always been, as I said, involved in investment of properties, whether that be in Ireland, Portugal, now Marbella, and we saw huge potential to continue that investment here, which is what we're doing. But then not only can we do that, we can actually assist others to do the same thing that we are. So whether that's for investment or whether it's for somebody looking to buy a holiday or move here, from trial and error, do's and don'ts, we're able to offer that. So that's really where Core Estates kind of emerged.
The name I only heard recently, even though we took control of doing all the branding, etc. But you don't often question exactly where the name come from. And you were talking about it this morning. I think it's a lovely sentiment, the breakdown of the letters of Core.
Yeah, absolutely. So like it can be double meaning in terms of, with Kristian, my name starts with a K. So and so there are core values. So like we obviously come from a service industry for over 100 years, and translating that over to Marbella is something that's seamless because we're heavily involved in that. Also my partner is her name is Juana with O, so that relates in part of the name, or for the road train element. To us and for España. So there's depending on what way you want to look at it, we have a bit of a connection. Yeah.
So in what ways would you say Core Estates is probably approaching the market from a different way, or how would it distinguish itself from the other agencies in Marbella?
So one of the big things that we probably bring to the table is that we're backed by a parent company that is over 100 years old. So not only are we investing in real estate and have been for nearly all that time, we also are heavily involved in the service industry in something that is really high-paced, fast action. So we have experience in that. So translating that over here in terms of offering a service to clients, being, I suppose, trusted investors in property and knowing what to do, kind of gives us a competitive edge over most.
It's almost a practice what you preach sort of element to it, that you've actually lived it and you can actually say to your clients, we are involved in this currently, and we've also done this, as you said, for many years in the past.
That's exactly it, and I think it's all about longevity of service, and we've had the success of that in our logistics business, of knowing that it's all about client satisfaction. So that's exactly what we're bringing here to Marbella when creating Core Estates.
We've obviously been with you through the whole process to date. What would you say one of the most rewarding moments has been so far?
We understand that doing anything like this takes time and patience, something you've very much highlighted to us, and we are that as well. But I suppose the biggest reward for us is seeing the satisfaction of clients in terms of finding their perfect investment or dream home. Is really what gives us the motivation to continue what we're doing. It's very much similar in the other businesses, that it's all about getting client satisfaction that kind of gives us the drive.
I think from a manifesto point of view, we're really proud of having been involved, as I keep mentioning, from the start and seeing the progression. And I think the interesting approach that you guys had was that you didn't want to do this by halves. You had an exact vision, whether that had been through market research of seeing other agencies, but it was to join the market and leave your mark right from the start. Is there anything that's maybe surprised you in the whole marketing process?
Yeah, entirely. I suppose from the other industry that we're in,
Cost.
the fact,
The
yeah,
cost.
cost is a huge factor as well.
cost,
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. But I think we had a branded identity because of the years of service that we've been provided there, that starting something new, it takes time, takes patience, and takes investment to do that. And we knew that from the beginning. And I think when we first sat down with yourselves, you were very transparent and open in explaining that to us. And we were very willing to accept that that is what's going to take, to be patient, to get this up and running. But identity is a huge part of that, and we have to realize that this takes a bit of time.
Yeah, I think the beauty of it is you can control the narrative because you are starting from zero, but Core Estate's brand is a huge part of what it is. How important do you see it for the market to create content and to provide value for that end client?
Yeah, and it's something we haven't been doing because we had a brand identity already in Ireland and in the UK. So here it's all about creating a new identity, but building trust with clients. So the only way you can do that is by putting yourself out more, so that I suppose even when we're doing videos or having chats with people, is that they can recognize or put a face to the company. Something you guys have highlighted very well to us in terms of that's something to kind of build on, so that we can have trust with anybody looking to engage in our services.
So we asked a few of the manifesto followers if they had any questions that we could ask you. And the standard one is always, if you had any advice for someone looking for an investment opportunity in Marbella, what would your biggest piece of advice be?
I think, without kind of putting a plug in for ourselves, but I think a practice what you preach kind of scenario. So whether you're looking to invest in a property here, seek an agency or seek somebody that can actually advise you on it, that have done it themselves. So I think doing something like that will ultimately be able to help and guide you through the whole process, versus somebody that hasn't done that. As we come back from a company that has a 100-year backing and investment, that's something we offer our clients, whether that's for investment or to move here permanently.
So what's next for Core Estates? What does the future hold?
So I think as we kind of discussed, it's something that we're going to continue to slowly and patiently build our identity here in Marbella, and build our client base and trust within the network here. We're also looking and continuing to expand our team here to offering services for anybody looking to purchase or invest. But ultimately, down the line, in terms of investment properties, we're hoping to be offering in the near future maybe Core Estates exclusive properties developed by us. So that's something you have to stay tuned for.
Very exciting, and we look forward to it.
Yeah.
So we've spoken a lot about the background, about the business, but everyone loves their golf. You've mentioned it. I'm a huge golf lover, so I want to leave people with a few nuggets of information. So what would be your recommendations for golf courses for all levels?
For all levels. For golf, yeah, well, you're certainly in the home of golf here. There's so many to offer, but I suppose from maybe a starter or somebody that hasn't played in a while, as a kind of beginner course, there's Magna. From thereafter, kind of intermediary, I say maybe El Paraíso.
Yeah, nice and wide.
Yeah, something I need. And I suppose there, in terms of kind of next level, if you're looking for more experience, Las Brisas. Beautiful course.
It's one to remember for sure. Well, thank you honestly so much. It's a pleasure. As I said, we're very fortunate to work with yourselves and call you friends. And I must admit that you're one of the good guys in the industry. So it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you.